go. We've already broke into the beer, guys, but let's welcome to the show. Get those hands together. Give a warm welcome. Let's welcome Sandra Murphy. What's up, Sandra?
Hey guys, can you hear me?
We can. How are you doing today, Sandra?
I'm doing good now that I've got all my stuff together to be here.
So you're one of the are you the head brewer out there? One of the brewers? What do we?
I am the head brewer
The head
out there.
brewer out there
Yes,
at Panther Island.
Nice.
Which, if memory serves me correctly, you're the first head female brewer in the DFW area, correct?
that's correct.
So
Sweet.
history being made here.
There you go.
We got someone who's made history.
Mm.
We've already busted into
And tasty beer.
Yes, we got into the Oktoberfest. We're drinking that right now, and let me tell you, that's a tasty beer.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, me
It is
too. That's my favorite. I'm very proud of it.
Is this the first year you guys have done an Oktoberfest? Because I don't remember one last year.
We didn't do one last year. I believe they've done some maybe on their pilot system a couple years. This year was completely my project. So I really wanted to do an Oktoberfest. It's one of my Marzen is one of my favorite styles, and they gave me the ball and let me run with it, and I think I did pretty well.
Yeah. Oh,
I would say so. It's
this is
awfully
really
tasty.
good.
Like the clarity's fantastic. The color's amazing. Yeah, it's
Smooth,
going down super
full,
smooth
full
right now.
flavored. Yeah,
Yeah.
I could knock back a lot of these quick. This is one of those where things can get out of hand.
So what?
Yeah, I
got you
joked
into
like they just needed to take a pallet, and I joked that they just needed to give me a pallet and just back it up to my garage and drink it all year long.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask you,
Yeah,
like,
go ahead.
how long exactly have you been brewing, and what got you into the beer scene?
So I've been brewing 5 years. My husband actually wanted to get into beer brewing. My oldest played Pee Wee football, and his beer coach was making, or his beer coach, his kind of his football coach made a clone of Raw Winter Warmer that was barrel aged. And when my husband found out you could do that from home, he was hooked. And I was like, cool, whatever. We'll save money on beer. That's what every home person that gets into home brewing says. We'll save money by making our own beer. That is a lie. But you will spend far more. But I was just going to make bread out of the grain and dog treats and things like that. And then I had an idea for a beer, and he's like, that's nuts. And if you want to do it, then you're going to do every step and you're going to brew it. And we still have that conversation when I have an idea for a beer at home. He's like, why? It normally turns out okay, but he still questions, going, why would you do that to a beer?
I mean, why not though? I mean, you've seen some of the crazy things that have come out of the DFW area, so
That's true.
I feel like you could do anything and just kind of get away with it, right?
Yeah.
So what was that first crazy idea that you had? What was it?
So we got an Italian soda from HEB, and it was orange blossom and rose or something like that. So I wanted to do an orange blossom rose water saison. So it was kind of liquid perfume, but I mean, it was drinkable.
Hey, that's all you got to ask for. So only brewing for 5 years and already made it to a head brewer. That's impressive. So you've caught on quick to the brewing. Was this all self-taught? Did you go? I've heard some people have gone to some of these brewing schools and things like that.
Couple YouTube videos.
Right?
No YouTube. A lot of podcasts. I'm one of those people that when I find something I like to do, I will research the crap out of it. And so I've read every book. I still read every book. I just got back from CBC, which is Craft Brewers Conference, and a lot of people were out drinking. I was the person with 9 classes to take every single day because I want to learn as much as humanly possible, because beer is constantly changing and we're still learning about ingredients, and all of that fascinates me. So, and I also had an experience where I walked into a local establishment and was talked down to, and I then I decided that one day I wanted to have a business card that I could slap down that said certified Cicerone on it. Just kind of this is, I know more than you. So there. And so I've been studying for that for 3 years. Haven't taken the test. COVID has kind of made that a little tricky. They're not doing any in-person tests until like beginning of next year. But so every time I have my headphones in, it's beer. Every time I'm driving down the road, it's beer. Every time I open up a book, it's beer. It's it's a crazy obsession.
Yeah. There is some of those people that do, I don't want to call them snobs. I don't know if they are small beer snobs or whatever, but they do. They'll almost they feel like they're just way up there and you're just nothing. But that's like a 1%. Everybody else that we've met have been so open to ideas, or if we have stupid questions, they're really helpful. But you're right. There's a couple out there that, man, they'll just talk down to you.
And sadly, kind of in the negative area of craft beer, which I do think is getting better, is if you're a woman, you automatically don't know what you want to drink. You don't know anything about styles that you needed explained to you. And that was my experience. I went into a place and they'll always ask, well, what do you want to drink? And I'm like, well, I kind of drink everything. What do you recommend? And it was something fruity and something pink, which is my pet peeve. Like, please don't assume that that's what I want because I'm a girl. And I ordered I think it was a triple IPA something. And they're like, well, that's what I drink. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's what I drink too.
Cool. Me too.
Yeah, I am on that other end of the spectrum, though. I'm like, yeah, I need something extremely light for most of the times, because one, if I drink a heavy beer or like an IPA or a barrel aged, it knocks me on my butt. Like as big as I am, I'm a lightweight.
You walk in there and you're like, what's the fruitiest beer you got? And that's crazy. Especially, I can speak for like here in the DFW area. The females are not the fruity beer type. A lot of them are not. They are. Hey, what do you got? What do you got barrel aged back there? What's your dark beers? What's your? And
that's what got me into it.
Like that here, because it's a very robust scene here where me personally, hey, if you ask me what kind of beer you want, hey, what should I have? Well, what kind do you like? I'm not gonna make assumptions based on.
I mean, I was even like, when I was, we go to Fredonia or whatever, the guy was super nice or whatever, but I was like, oh, let's just go down the list. But as I was reaching into the IPAs, and he goes, it's got a lot of hops. I'm like, oh, that's fine. I'm going to drink, and I'm here for it. But yeah, I mean, even, they looked at me kind of goofy. I'm like, oh, I'm a professional, sir. I can.
So how long have you been there at Panther Island?
I've been there, I think, just under 2 years now.
Nice. And you've been enjoying it down there? Because I had y'all's beers, I think, a couple years ago. And when I first found out y'all, I was asking the guys about this. What was it? Tailgater, right?
Tailgater.
I think that's what introduced, because y'all have the coolest can art. And I'll be honest, I'm a sucker for good can art and just, stuff that jumps off the shelf at me. And I mean, I must have drank that beer for like the next month because it was so just easy going and refreshing. What do you got there?
I mean, speaking of can art, the can on this one, we're moving on from the Oktoberfest, the Marzon. We've got 3 different beers we want to get in while we got you on here. We're going with There Goes My Hero. Awesome can. The pink. I always like the pink on the cans because it draws your attention. And then you've got the hippie rocker on here.
Damn hippies.
It's got the Panther Brewing logo on his shirt and things like that. But when I hear this beer, I instantly go to the greatest rock band of all time, the Fighters of the Foo Fighters. Tell us what we're drinking with this one.
So that is our Goes, and when we have several different versions of it, but There Goes My Hero is our pink guava version. And all of them are named somewhat musically. So it'll be, we do a Goes Melon, which is our watermelon version.
Nice.
I'm blanking on the other names.
That's all. It's all good. But the can art. So do you have who is coming up with these can arts? Do you outsource it, or is there someone that's just like an artist wizard working in the back?
Yeah, we have a fantastic artist, graphic designer that we work with. His name is John Rubio out of Austin,
Okay.
and he just does a phenomenal job.
People laugh at us, when we talk about what the way we rate beers here is we include can art.
Yeah.
And people are like, "Oh, how do you know it?" I'm like, "Look, I know it's like trying to check a book out by its cover, right? But that stuff jumps off the shelf and that puts us right to it, and that's what we end up buying. But you guys have the greatest can art.
I'll buy a beer just because of the can art.
Yeah, I'll try it. Why
I
not?
don't even know what it is, but I'll buy it, or the name, the can art, or the name of the beer.
Nice.
Jay, we just had a comment in here from Jay.
Oh,
there we go. I haven't been to Panther Island, but the milk stout I had on tap there was awesome. Haven't had one as good since.
Nice.
That would be Sweet Fang, and that's one of the first beers I did as a clone was I cloned Sweet Fang from home. So every time I brew it, I have a little laugh that this is one of the beers that got me started.
Awesome. So you love brewing beer. I mean, is there any future steps? I mean, I don't know. I don't understand the beer world, but what is the next step for you? How high are you going to go?
I don't quite know what the future holds for me, so I'm having a great time at Panther. I love I feel like we've been around 7 years, and I kind of feel sometimes we're the brewery everybody forgot about because people come in like, I haven't been here in 4 years. And I'm like, what took you so long to come back? So it's been fun getting to kind of reintroduce everybody to Panther, as being the new brewer and with the new can art and everything like that. So I'm excited to see what our future holds and kind of hang out for the ride.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been pushing people too. Cause you think about it, you let time slip. It's been a week. Now it's a month. Now it's 6 months. And it's like, oh my God, I haven't been out to one of my favorite breweries in forever. And I'm like, I got to get out. And I think COVID did it to everybody. It shut you down where you stay at home or you just put you out of your normal circle or whatever. And now everybody is starting to get back out and they're starting to, oh man, let me drive over here and check them out. I mean, there's times on the weekend that me and my wife will just drive around to hit like maybe 4 or 5 breweries just to go back, check it out.
And it's a curse and it's a blessing about the DFW area. The blessing is there's so many great breweries here in the DFW area that all make great beers and everybody does something different and special in their own way. But the curse is there's so many of them that it's hard to get to all of them. Like, I think right there where you're at over there in Fort Worth, there's 7 breweries within a 5-mile radius, I'd say. Something like that.
Yeah, and several of them have just opened up within the last year and a half. It seems, and the fort's about to open here in the next couple weeks, I think. So, yeah, they're just popping up everywhere. Every time my husband works in the industry too. He supplies a lot of the grain and the ingredients we use to make beer. And he's like, "Have you heard this one? This one's opening, and this one's opening." And but, man, it's just blowing up right now.
It is a good thing. And the cool thing about it is, he lives in Fort Worth. I'm on the Dallas side, more further north. And then we have our producer that's in the middle. So we can cover a lot of ground. And that's how we get to know a lot of people. So, but I'm telling you, if you got like 5 breweries within a certain area of somewhere, that sounds like a good time ready to happen.
Oh, no, it's a great time because it's let me go get a beer or two here, a beer or two here, a beer or two here.
Pace yourself.
You just kind of make the rounds, or it's easy when like, especially like during the pandemic, it was nice because I'd go out on a Saturday and spend an hour out on the road and hit up 10 breweries and get beer to go from all 10 of them.
Yeah.
And I'm not gone for long because everybody is so close. You've got some in Fort Worth that are walking distance from each other.
No.
Yeah, we did that several times during the pandemic. It was like, we got to get these kids out of the house, and we're like, we're going to Dallas, and they were all excited. They didn't realize we were going to Dallas to get beer.
And we're not leaving the car. You're gonna.
We're not leaving the car. You're gonna stay there the whole time.
Oh, jeez. So, where were you at Panther? Have you been at Panther this entire time?
Yeah, I started out as a beer tender, and it was really I had lost my job and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do next. And uh, I'd been reading about beer for so long. I was like, well, let me see behind the scenes. Let me get some hands-on experience. And so they happened to be hiring for a beer tender, and I had met them on an anniversary trip that my husband and I took. And so I reached out and applied, and it was maybe a couple weeks. Ryan and I were talking behind the bar and talking about what I wanted to do. And he asked me if I wanted to be a brewer. And like, yes, absolutely. I never thought that opportunity would present itself. And he was looking for someone to take over the pilot system. And so I did that for about 9 months, and then would volunteer. Like, they couldn't get rid of me. I was like, what days? I want to be there for every brew day. uh, Brewing's kind of a solitary thing, and I think I showed up and bugged Ryan pretty much every morning after he let me on the brew deck. Like, what are we doing today?
Nice.
So I
you
wouldn't go away, so they just gave me a title and started paying me.
That's what you have to do. A lot of people, they want to get into brewing, but there's a lot of work, an extremely lot of work. Cleaning. There's a lot of cleaning involved. Most people don't realize it, and so the best thing to do is get a job at a brewery. Start working the bar, but also go back on brew days, or at least in cleaning up. If you're just sitting back there washing kegs or something, I mean, there is a lot of work into it. Brewing's just a small portion of it, but everything, you have to be a meticulous person. If you're not a cleanly person, you're not for the details. I'm not for the details. That's why I can't do it. But I love drinking beer, but I'm just not that guy.
I literally walk when we clean and shine everything up so it's pretty for the public. I literally walk around and look and point out spots on the fermenter. It's like, nope, we got to redo that. So that's the kind of person I am at work. At home, I'm like, I don't care. You draw on the wall.
You can't have it. That's the thing. You can't have it both ways, right? If you're,
clean there,
if clean freak at work, the house probably won't be as nice as you want it. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's running a brewery and all that. From what we've seen and what we've heard people from, it's a lot of elbow grease, a lot of work.
So let's get into some of the fun stuff. What was the first beer that you brewed there? Was it one of the beers that you created, one that someone else had created? What was the first one that you actually brewed there? And if it wasn't one of your recipes, the follow-up is, what was your first beer that you brewed there?
Trying to remember. It happened. Well, I think the first beer that I brewed there was Allergies, and it's definitely the one I've brewed the most, and it's the biggest pain in the ass. But I love it, and so not my recipe, but it's my baby now. I take great pride in everything I produce there. But the first beer that was my recipe, I did on the pilot batch, and it's called Amberlin's Pale Ale, and it was named after my daughter. I lost my 10-year-old daughter, in a car accident in 2018. So my tribute to her, because she left a note in her room that said, be brave, be awesome, be cool, be you, or I think I've mixed it up, but it is something, that sentiment of just be who you are and don't try to fit into the box. And so me becoming a brewer was leaping out of the box and following her advice. And so I named my first professional beer that I wrote and produced after her.
That's awesome. We had a question come in from Carlos. How many attempts usually before you get a solid hit on a new beer?
I don't know how to answer this without sounding like really cocky or anything, but I've had really I've had really good luck on most things. And for some reason, the way my mind works, I'm able, in my knowledge of ingredients, which has been a tremendous amount of studying to get there. I kind of know how things are going to work together, so I can normally get it pretty close on the first attempt. I can't say there's been maybe 3 or 4 batches that we've really had to tweak along the way, because it just wasn't quite where I wanted it to be. Our NE's probably been my biggest learning curve. We're actually canning that this Friday, and it's called Hazy Cat. And you talked about beer can art. This is just next level. Probably my favorite design. But Ryan kept saying, we got to go. And I'm like, one more batch, one more batch, one more batch. He's like, you can't have it in R&D forever. We got to go eventually. I'm like, all right. But and even there, it's a style I read a lot about. I didn't know about. We collabed with Matt Reynolds from Celestial, and just because I wanted to pick his brain and see how someone who does it so well does it, and learn from him. And I've done a lot of research with Treehouse and Trillium and Weldworks, and reaching out to their brewers and figuring out how they do those styles. So that's probably the one that I've had the most test batches on. So I hope everybody likes it.
Now,
It's a little terrifying.
How involved are you in the naming process of the beers?
I'm not. I'm creative where I'm like, hey, let's do, a coconut hefeweizen, and then they're like, what do you want to name it? I'm like, coconut hefeweizen. So I'm so bad at that. My husband, a lot of times, he's a lot better at that. Our Bucky's beer, he's like, you should call it Road Trip Snacks. And so I got to give him credit. He named that one.
That's the next one we're having.
That's a good beer.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's fun.
When I saw this one was brewed with the Beaver Nuggets, I was like, okay, well, I like the Beaver Nuggets and I like beer.
People and Bucky's.
So it can't be bad. And I was right. It's delicious. We got another question come in. What's the one hop you haven't gotten to try that you want to?
Oh man. I was obsessed with Lotus. And so when we got the chance to brew with Matt Reynolds, I asked him that question. He said Lotus too, and I'm like, we're a match made in heaven. So it was that one. I'm pretty lucky where I get to read about hops and then play with them on the pilot system pretty often. So right now I don't currently have a hop. Well, no, I take that back. There's a couple French hops that I'm looking at playing with, but I can't think of their names right now.
Okay. What is your favorite style of beer to brew?
Bourbon barrel-aged stouts, probably.
So when you do the barrel age, typically, how long are you barrel aging those bad boys for?
It seems from what I've seen, about a year. We don't rush them. We let them sit and we taste them, and when they're ready, we'll release them. There's no it must be done by this date. So we let the barrel do its thing and bring out the character. A lot of times barrel aged beers will be really hot, and so we allow it to have that maturity process where it can become rounded out and smooth and all work together instead of conflicting with each other.
That's impressive. A year. That's a long time. Oof.
Takes patience.
It does. It does.
Takes patience.
It does.
And what's your least favorite style of beer to brew? That you just don't want to do it?
I don't have one. Any time that I get to brew beer, I'm so happy about it. So I'm still that person that walks into work every day, and it might be, oh, you get to clean the floor drains today, and I'm like, yes, I'm so happy about it. Because I feel I'm so blessed to be in this position. So, and I really drink everything, so I'm happy every brew day.
There you go.
Nice. So what are some things we got going on up at Panther Island coming up here pretty soon? Some beer releases we can look forward to, some events going on. Do you have like a bingo night? What are we talking about out there?
So almost every weekend we have live music going on. Ryan is actually part of a 90s country cover band, and we've managed to talk him into playing. That's coming up soon. His band is called Chattahoochee. So we have a drag show. I think it's the first Saturday of every month. It might be the second Saturday. I'm bad at this. But we're really good at always having something going on a weekend. So if in doubt, like head to Panther on a weekend. There's something going on.
Sweet. And what's the next beer coming out?
We're canning Hazy Cat, which is our New England IPA, on Friday. So it'll be hitting the market probably starting Friday sometime.
Nice.
Awesome.
How often are you guys releasing beers out there?
So
new
there's
beer.
there's a can shortage. Just like there's a shortage of everything. So it's one of those.
In-house on tap. Like do you have
Oh,
certain
okay.
beers that you can just get on tap? Like you have to show up to Panther Island to get this beer. You're not getting it anywhere else.
Any of our pilot stuff will be on tap only. And it's pretty a limited supply. We normally get one keg. Everything else is hitting distro pretty well. So we release a new beer every week or 2 weeks out into the market, and it's anything from our cores to some of our more limited stuff. But we're pretty good at the COVID has kind of transitioned us from where you could only get our core stuff to trying to release as much as we can into the distro.
Awesome. Well, Sandra, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. The pleasure's all on this side of the table. Guys, go check them out. PantherIslandBrewing.com. You guys are on what, like Facebook, Instagram, all that?
Yeah, I think we're even on TikTok. I don't know. That's a young kid's game. I don't know that.
We've found that we've had to delve into that young kids game and just throw some crap up there, right? It's crazy.
Yeah. I know we do have Oktoberfest on tap this week, and we're getting kind of low. So if you want to try it, this is a great week to come out to the brewery and have some Oktoberfest.
There you go. And it's an awesome scene out there. Nice big floor there on the inside. You got cornhole in there, all types of stuff, guys. Go check them out. Yeah.
Nice.
Sandra, again, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Let's give it up, guys. Give Sandra a round of applause.
That's awesome. That's PantherIslandBrewing.com. PantherIslandBrewing.com. Check them out. You're going out there? Are you going to go out there this weekend?
I don't know. There's so many places I'm supposed to go out to this weekend, and I'm like,
listen,
I'll see what I can do.
You better get out there and get. She's already said that the Oktoberfest is already on limited supply. Off the tap, it's got to be delicious. Off the tap's always more delicious. Thank you so much, Sandra.